close with silent keys from distant lands across the seas. A glance, a smile, a love so free. He brought us home by invite only. By invite only, hearts awaken. No path to follow, soul forsaken. We rise with love and humbly see. We're here by grace, by invite only. Shri's light, Sathya's flame. Prema waits with holy name. Three forms, one truth, eternally. He leads us all by invite only. Om Sachidananda Parabrahma Satya Sai Bhagavata Namaha. Love all, serve all, truth is the key. Peace begins with you and me. By invite only, we came to know a love so vast it made us whole. Through every breath, in every cry, we serve with joy, oh Satya Sai. By invite only, we came to know a love so vast.
Sairam, by invite only. It's an interesting thought. But when I think about how I came to Bhagwan or how people are brought into his fold, I'm forced to say that he calls and there's no reason for it. How we get selected, how we people come, there is no logic to that. Some people may say that they might have done some good karmas and their generations and lineage must have done something, and then you land here and he gets an excuse to come. I have my own doubts. As Bhagwan would always say, that when you get my first darshan, probably that could be the culmination of all the good deeds you have accumulated. So just the first darshan, and after that to come for a second darshan and to get his association is all purely grace. So how we come here may be an excuse people come with because some health reasons, they come because of relationship issues, they come because of any challenges in life. But those challenges are precisely created by him for us to come closer to God. And when you say invite, it makes us feel as if, that I'm important to get an invitation from God. So probably he may give you even that camouflage of that okay, you are important. But the fact of the matter is, only person important is him. And why he calls us, he knows. But merely just because he has given us this opportunity to be with him, that actually qualifies us for certain work, and that is the duty of ours to know him, to understand, to put an effort as to why did he call, what he expects from us. So in this drama of life, director has landed, he is creating his team and he can choose any Tom and make him a hero. And the roles he can give is variety. It can be a pauper or a king, a hero or a dullard. It can be anything. But the beauty of it is to realize that we are in the play of God. So whatever little role I'm playing, the role is not important. Being in the play with God is important. So if anyone who thinks that he is accepted by God, he is accepted by God. Anybody who thinks of him as his, he is his. So it is as simple as that and as difficult as that. So when I feel how you came to Bhagavan is the moment you're thinking about him, you have come to him. The moment he brings you in through any of his thoughts, any of his words, you are his.
Swarupa Pahi Gajanana Vignanasha Vinayaka Pranava Swarupa Pahi Gajanana Vignanasha Vinayaka Pranava Swarupa Pahi Gajanana Vignanasha Vinayaka Pranava Swarupa Pahi Gajanana Vignanasha Vinayaka Ekadanta Ekunavanta Vignanasha Vinayaka Ekadanta He Gunavanta Vignanasha Vinayaka Ekadanta He Gunavanta Vignanasha Vinayaka Shrita Janapalana Sindhuravadana 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 Vignanasha Vinayaka Mahadeva Shiva Gauri Nandana 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 Vignanasha Vinayaka Pranava Swarupa Pahi Gajanana Vignanasha Vinayaka Pranava Swarupa Pahi Gajanana Vignanasha Vinayaka Ekadanta Ekunavanta Vignanasha Vinayaka Ekadanta Ekunavanta Vignanasha Vinayaka Shrita Janapalana Sindhuravadana Vignanasha Vinayaka
I was 6 years old and my entire family. We weren't just going to Sai Center on a Sunday. This was almost every day of our life. Sai was the central focus of the family. So I was very blessed for that. I think the first real experience I had must have been around 8 years old. And I remember in the Sai Center when they used to give a talk, they would always say, you call the name of God and God will appear. So, I don't know if it's just children, but I should take it literally. So I remember the one day I was walking up to school and I was having one of these low moments. I must have been about 8 or 9 years old. And I called out to Sathya Sai, and I remember feeling him walking with me. And then I would do that almost every day. Whenever I was alone, almost play a game and I would call out his name and I'd feel his energy almost just slightly behind my shoulder. I would sense the presence of this being. So I grew up with this knowing that Sathya Sai was always with me. And many people don't know this side to me, but it's only later on in life I realized that not everyone had this experience. It was a very unique experience because I just thought that everyone that was a Sai devotee or was a Christian, was a Muslim, they prayed to God and they felt God's presence. But I was having this experience. And almost my lowest moments, and I had many of those, even as a child I would feel low and depressed because I was different from everyone else, and I would feel this presence.
I offer my humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of our most beloved Bhagawan. Loving sisters and brothers, Om Sai Ram to one and all. I've come to know about Sai Baba in 1975, where my neighbor gave us a small little photograph to keep in our prayer place and pray to Sai Baba, and they said, this man here will help you out in your spiritual journey. Since then, my spiritual journey started with Sai Baba. I've had many experiences with Sai Baba. We had 4 healing miracles at home where Swami healed. And I'll just share my one in 2010, December, on Christmas Day. I had psoriasis and arthritis for many years. And I was asked to light the candle on the Christmas cake with Baba. And as Baba held my hand and we lit the candle on the Christmas cake, within 5 days my arthritis and psoriasis were gone. Now it's 15 years, I never had any pains again, and our beloved Bhagawan healed me before he can leave his physical form. And I had many interactions with Sai Baba. I touched his feet many times. He allowed me to kiss his feet once. Then I was called up for an interview with Sai Baba. The interview went on very well, but in the end of the interview, he came to me, held me on my head, just got his hand placed, but the weight was pushing me down. And after that was the last part of the interview, and he walked out to give darshan to the devotees. And when I got up, I can't feel the floor. My feet is on the floor, and I cannot feel my floor. And took a few steps, nearly fall in the interview room, and for 3 days I was walking on the air. And that experience, it's out of this world. I can't explain. I was in a different world at that time. And I had a lot of grace with Swami, and Swami has taken care of me from being an uneducated person, only went to grade 5, and today to be the zone chair of 7 countries. It's only through his grace, and the effort and sacrifice that I made brought me to where I am. So I really give all thanks to Swami for using me as his divine instrument to do his work. Sai Ram, everybody.
Sai bhajan bina sukh shanti nahi, Hari naam bina anand nahi, Prema bhakta bina udar nahi, Guru seva bina nirvana nahi. Sai bhajan bina sukh shanti nahi. Om Saram, my humble prostrations and salutations unto thy lotus feet of our Divine Master. It's an absolute honor to have this opportunity to share with you some of my experiences. But if I had to call out one experience which has been life-changing for me. It's Swami's will to have me, or to conduct me, I would say, to start recording bhajans. I've been a vocalist for many, many years, and I had this opportunity back in 1989 to meet a divine soul. He became one of my best friends and a lifelong partner in the journey with Swami. So Swami worked through him, I believe, and he was the one that encouraged me to record volume 1. The title of the volumes that I recorded, Garland of Bhajans, was not something that I came up with. It was just something that just happened. We had recorded volume 1 under very strenuous conditions. It was recorded at 1 o'clock in the morning. And people sat with me and made sure that we got this recorded. But Swami's guidance through volume 1 was not just do volume 1. He guided me through, 12 more volumes. And I honestly believe that this was my changing moment. This was my connection with Swami. It brought me closer. It not only brought me closer, it was his way to say, record this music so that you can transform the lives of my devotees, that you can bring them closer to me through your bhajans. But it's not my voice, it's his voice. I did not choose the bhajans for the specific volumes. He chose the bhajans for me. And so this, for me, has been the life-changing moment. 13 volumes that has kept me humble, that has kept me spiritual, and has made me stronger as an aspirant. I still believe I have a long way to go to be called a devotee. I feel that I'm a very strong aspirant of Sai and will continue this journey and continue to follow the path as long as he wants me to grow closer to him. Jai Sai Ram.
So I think the trying moments come very often. At any given time, there's sometimes so much to deliver on, and you want to always give your best. And at the same time, you're facing personal challenges. And what I found over time is just thinking of Swami more often and surrendering to him, or just thinking of him in that moment. You just feel his hand, his invisible hand, taking you through those circumstances where while everything can feel very overwhelming, suddenly things just start falling into place or going at its own pace. And it's just because you've given up that right to take control of the situation and just surrender. And through that time, you actually just feel that abundant love being with you and taking you through that difficult journey of time.
Om Sai Ram. It was the year 1997 and I was a university student at the age of 21. My first introduction to Swami was I found a random book in my sister's school bag, who was much younger than me, and I wanted to see what she was reading. I read through that book and I found it so interesting. It was a book by a devotee from Johannesburg, Rob Lowenberg. Lowenberg wrote a book called At the Feet of Sai about his entire experience. He was a Jewish devotee who had found Swami and a professor of law at Wits University. I read his entire book and was totally immersed and excited by his story. The same night, when I fell to sleep at the wee hours of the morning, I had a dream that Bhagawan entered my room and told me a few messages. That startled me. The very next day when I went to university, a friend of me asked me to join him at the Sai Center. So that was an amazing coincidence. I went there, wasn't really into it, still confused about this dream, but 2 weeks later I was asked to join a youth trip to go to Puttaparthi. All my friends were going, so I went along just to discover who this Baba was. And it was an amazing experience. In June 1997 was the first youth conference in Puttaparthi.
Swami proved to me that he was God. I said him, Swami, I'm doing your work. My son is got nephrotic syndrome. He cannot pass urine for 7 days. If you are God, you will cure him. He materialized vibhuti for me, and he materialized pendant that I must put around his neck. And today my son is 50 years old, towards the end of this month. He showed me that he was God. His omnipresence, omniscience, his omnipotence. And Swami works in his own time. From that time, he posed for me as a photograph where he had the image of Shri Baba. And a good couple of years later on, when he wanted to cure my son, he created that situation that he'll cure my son. And the reward for that is a photograph that I've taken of him. And those photographs, one of them is the boys' hostel in Puttaparthi, and the other one is a girls' college in Anantapur.
I've been asked to talk about my journey with Swami. It's not an easy thing to talk about. It's a very personal journey, one that where Swami walks beside you without necessarily manifesting anything major, but just a constant presence. Part of you, part of what you do and how you do it. Initially, in my earlier days, I was very fixated on miracles and manifestations from Swami, looked for messages everywhere, and got very taken in with manifestations and miracles and messages. But since then, my journey has changed significantly. I no longer look for those things. I believe that Swami walks with me and in me every day. And what I'm meant to do is not focus on manifestation, but focus on messages and on living Swami's truth and living his project and be part of his service. And that's essentially how my relationship with Swami has changed over time.
Where I had a dream that I was surrounded by Sai young adults. And at that time, my center had just a few young adults. But not knowing that when I was part of the Global Young Adult Leadership Conference in the year 2024, I was surrounded by 2,000 young adults when I had given a talk in Cycle 1 Hall. Back then, and reflecting that in my dream, Swami was preparing me for a moment. In Swami's organization, when we say serve, it's not just serving like any other organization. It is serving ourselves first through our self-transformation, through our sadhanas, and thereafter serving humanity, and not just for glory and for fame. To build a unified Sai Center, to build a unified Sai organization and a world at large. I thank Swami for his guidance, for molding me in the person that I am today.
Om Sai Ram. My invite by Swami was, I was a devotee before my husband passed away, and he wasn't a devotee. And my thing with him was, on a Thursday we used to fast, and he never used to fast, and I used to cook for him. And in my mind I used to always say, Swami, I'm not going to ask him to fast on a Thursday, it's going to come from you. And the month before he could pass away, I remember that Thursday morning he said to me, don't cook anything, I'll eat what you're eating. For me that was victory, it's his invite. It wasn't my duty to nag my husband and tell him, you got to fast or whatever. It came from him. Swami worked through him. And how I became closer to Swami, or shall I say Swami held me in his arms, is when my husband passed away. And I was lost, I didn't know what to do. I had 3 kids, and that's where my real connection started with him. I had a book that was called Compendium of Sai Teachings. It was a very thick book, and we were looking for some legal documents after he had passed away, and I found that book. I took it, I put it on my headboard, and that was my Bible to me. I actually blamed Swami when my husband passed away. I didn't want to pray, I didn't want to go for bhajans, I didn't want to do anything. And I just closed my eyes and I opened that book, and the paragraph it fell onto was, why when somebody dies you blame God? So he used that book to connect with me and to get me, and that's how through that book I became a vegetarian, because I wasn't a vegetarian. And so through that book, you know, my kids and I became in his fold, and I'm still in his fold, and you know, he doesn't leave us, we leave him, we doubt him, and he's there. It's just that we don't see it. We want big miracles, but every day is a miracle that he's holding our hand.
I strongly feel that Swami saved me. I feel as if he's been working in my life, and there's been this massive transformation. If I look at for most part of my life, as a young girl, as a teenager, young adult, I've always felt lost. Despite any material achievement, there was always this depth that I was looking for. And with Swami, it feels as if he just stepped into my life and started working with me to transform from this outward look more towards what's this inward journey like. And even when there were times when I felt as if I didn't really know what to do, how to approach certain things, he would step in and guide me in such a subtle manner. Just guide me, hold my hand, walk with me on that journey. I've never felt alone, you know, and it's something so difficult. You can't explain it. You have to experience that journey with Swami. And I've never in my life, I could have been physically alone. I've never ever felt that way ever. So for me, it's been a lot about that inward part, reconnecting with myself, discovering that divinity within me. And I feel that it has brought so much of peace and calm in my life. I am so grateful to Swami. I am so grateful for him turning my head in the right direction and helping me to really see what is the true purpose of my life. It is for me to realize that divinity that is resonant within me.
My first calling to Swami was through, of course, my wife was an ardent devotee of Swami, but when we got married, I never really believed in Swami. But strangely enough, I got lured into the path of Sai fold, mostly because I used to attend bhajans here in this very Lenasia South area, and I used to only go to the bhajan when I needed an order. The devotee who had that bhajan service was a contractor as well. So whenever I went to bhajan was when he used to call me back and say, "Don't go now, I got an order for you." So I was literally lured into Swami's fold by looking for money and looking for an order. And subsequent to that, I then traveled, strangely enough, to Parthi for the first time and came back very aware of everything that's happening, but still not totally believing. Until on my return, I then came to see Swami physically manifest himself out of a picture from our shrine area in live, full. And Swami was saying to us, "Sing these bhajans." And that was like such a wow moment. I mean, till now we feel the vibration of Swami, the legacy of Swami, the teachings of Swami just unfolded from that day on. And the family was there as well. My little nephew managed to see Swami physically, and Swami was actually saying, "Sing this bhajan, sing that bhajan, sing that bhajan." After singing 5 bhajans, Swami then said, "Please turn Aarti, my devotees are waiting." And with a wish and a swirl of wind that passed us all, and Swami was gone. The physical form was no longer there. And that for us was such a divine message. Since then, the family just got inspired to clean up our act, to transform our own lives, to live in that present moment of Swami. And it's just been an amazing journey ever since.
So my connection with Swami was through a dream where he gave darshan. And he took me to a very low space and he said, "Only you can change what's in your mind and in your heart." And at that stage, I guess I started being very angry because I started getting vitiligo, and he showed me this in a dream. But it's a journey where he showed me how I needed to learn to love myself. And so if you understand Swami's teaching, it's a path of self-realization, right? And so we're all going through very difficult things, for example, death, rebirthing, losing money. But when you understand what his teachings mean, start within your deep self. There's such a divine power within you that you can create anything what you want to. And I think in that space where he says in his path of self-realization, you are the Brahma of your destination. Create unconditionally, righteously, and most importantly, it's your journey.
I always felt peace in a temple and in Hindu Dharma. I couldn't understand how a human being could proclaim that he's God, because I always knew Ram, Shiva, Hanuman, Krishna were gods, and I found that who has such a big ego to call himself God? And I was like, this can't be true. Even in religious organizations and local temple, I was offended when people said Bhagawan, Sai Ram, and I said, how can you insult the gods like that? I came to Joburg to do articles, and I did articles at a firm that was very involved in the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and I've been very attracted to the concept of truth and dharma. And one day, while meditating, the place became dark. I saw the universe, and in front of me, Swami appeared. I couldn't understand it, but I've been touched since then, and it's beyond logic, it's beyond the mind. But what I do feel is that I'm held by grace, I'm held by love, and I know I need to act with truth in all that I do. Many things have happened where I've seen Swami's physical hand holding me. The one part of it that is very personal to me and I don't speak about, but I'd like to share today was I was told that I would not have children. And one morning, Swami came to me at 4 o'clock in the morning and said, I'll give you love and light and I'll give you what's mine. Look after her as she's yours, but she belongs to the universe. And although medically I was told at that time I could not conceive, I felt pregnant. It was a hard pregnancy. When the child was born, and while I was in being treated, a man comes to me and tells me, did you say the Gayatri to the child? And you know she belongs to Swami. I went back looking for this person in Olivedale Hospital, and that person didn't exist.
There was an occasion in my life when I knew getting angry wasn't the right thing. And I came to India with that prayer. I made many trips to India, and there was only one time that I asked something of Swami. And it was at that time that I asked him to please take out the anger, remove anger, because I had that streak. It was always a kind of a righteous anger, because I'll justify what I did, what I got angry about. But nevertheless, it was anger. And there was this time that I landed in India. It was close to Christmas. It was my first trip out of the many trips that I'll be there in Christmas. And when we landed, it was afternoon darshan time. And the main thing about the darshan was to try and get a token and be as close as possible to Swami. So we were in the queue. I got row number 2, and I was so pleased. I forgot completely about what I'm going to ask Swami about and pray for or anything like that. I just got caught up in being in row number 2, being in the sun, watching people blocking the sun. And all I wanted to do was just absorb that sun. I didn't want to block it like how they were. And I also considered myself lucky that I wasn't like blocking the sun and being in the shade. I remember those thoughts. And then darshan music started and Swami came. But this time we couldn't, I was feeling disappointed that I couldn't see Swami in the flesh because he came with that car, golf car, and the car came in front of me and the window came down and his eye and my eye met and I could see the freshness of Swami. And that moment, it lasted like an eternity. And as that car went and took a turn and it went towards the mandir, at the turn, the thought that came into my mind, and I know it's Swami's message coming into my mind, the thought that came into my mind, I haven't read it before anyway. This is the thought. Remove the R and replace it with the L. And then the thought again came. Replace the rage with the light of love, and you will be my angel. So I didn't want the thought to dissipate. I kept on repeating it because I felt, where did this come from? And I knew straight away afterwards on reflection that Swami answered the prayer before I could ask him.
I just wanted to say, I feel it was not a coincidence me being in the Sai organization. My grandfather from my dad's side, his name was Subia. My father's name, Raja Chetty. My eldest sister, Govindama Chetty, was born on Shirdi Sai Baba's birthday. My second sister, who is late now, she was born on Sathya Sai Baba's birthday. And when I was born, my grand named me Subama. So I feel so blessed. I feel that I'm supposed to be in the Sai organization, number one. And that's why I've dedicated my life to doing Swami's work. And I love doing seva. As many of you know, that we had one of the biggest medical camps also in Kinross. So my duty going forward, I am now retired, my husband and I, and we feel that our life is here just to serve Swami in any capacity as possible. And I will continue doing that. Usually when I go to Prashanti Nilayam, I help out in the Western canteen. And being there has taught me a lot, especially when it comes to patience. I'm not a person that's very patient, but serving in Prashanti Nilayam in the Western canteen has taught me a lot. I remember one incident where a devotee came and she asked me for coffee. And then she asked me for tea. So I poured her 2 cups. One was tea and one was coffee. And she screamed at me and she said, "But I asked you for coffee and tea." And I said, "But I've got you coffee and tea." And she said, "But you need to listen. I want coffee and tea in 1 cup." And that was so humorous, later on, think about it. But then I was so shocked. I said, wow, this lady is actually teaching me patience and also to listen carefully to whatever somebody is saying, Just don't take it for granted.
So I came into Swami's fold in the late 1990s. A friend of mine liked this guy that was a Sai devotee, so we started going for service. And in those years, it was the Battersea Sai Center in Reservoir Hills. Only now, or much later, did I realize that that was Swami's calling card or drawing card for me into the organization. There have been a few incidents and experiences that I've had. The one that I think about is my dad had to have open heart surgery, and that was a major surgery. And the rest of my family isn't all Sai devotees. But, after the op had taken place, when we'd walk through the foyer to visit him, just my mum and I, who were more, in the Sai path, would smell the fresh jasmine, vibhuti smell and the fresh jasmine, and we knew that Swami was definitely there. His presence was felt, and my dad's healing was then phenomenal. To the point that even when my dad was discharged, when he got home, exactly where the doctors had cut for the open heart surgery, there was vibhuti on that particular spot, which neither my mum or myself had put. So that again was the second reassurance that Swami was the doer and the undertaker in this open heart surgery, as well as for my dad's healing process.
When I was quite young, I would be so attracted to his pictures that I saw. And I had that really strong yearning of wanting to go to India, and that was so far-fetched. I would tell my parents that, and they would just look at me and say, "What do you want to go and do in India with Sai Baba?" I said, "I just want to have I want to have an experience. I want I like their spirituality. I don't even know what I liked because I hadn't experienced any kind of Indian spirituality. I became a traditional healer, a faith healer, and I studied quite a few different things, but finally I was guided to go to ACAM, the Oneness University in India. And I made sure that I will definitely go and visit Sai Baba's ashram. And I went there with my son. And when we got there, they opened up a door and they let us in where he used to meditate. And I do not know what happened to me. I started shaking my whole body. I could not control myself at all. It was so profound, that experience. And I was not even aware that Robin, my son, who was next to me, was experiencing the same thing. This morning, when I came in here, because I knew that you were coming, I looked at his photo and literally I became so emotional, I could have cried. And when I have those emotions, I know that it is saying something to me. Now, whenever I pray, I don't leave him out, because I've got so many different people that we pray to. You pray to your Jesus Christ, you pray to God, and I also honor my other spiritual masters, but I do not leave him behind. I really also mention that God of Sai Baba, and I was just grateful that I finally connected to what it is that attracted me to him so much.
Mom, when she was very young, she had an affinity to Sai Baba, and it's something that she told us about as we were growing up. And when we had the opportunity to go to India, I made it a priority that I take Mom to a temple in India. But somehow we ended up at a ashram in Sundaram, and when we got there was a gentleman who greeted us. He asked us where we're from, we told him, and there was this profound feeling of there's somebody here that you can't see. And it was almost as if the gentleman who was there to welcome us was talking to this presence that you can't see, but you can feel as if there's someone there. And under his breath, he was having a conversation with this presence. And he said, okay, Baba, I'll take them. So he took us to a little shrine where it's actually I think it's a dedication to the previous Sai Baba. And this is where Sai Baba would meditate to be with his guru. And he said, okay, Baba, I'll open the door for them. And Mom and I were sitting there, and as this door opened, it was as if this force of energy just surged into my body. And I was slightly behind Mom, so I could see she was having the same experience as me. And it was incredibly profound. This deep feeling of nothing but everything at the same time. Being a spiritual seeker, this is the type of stuff that you seek for. So I went back many years later, in fact late last year. The gentleman that guided us when we were there the last time, I bumped into him, and he remembered us, he remembered me, he remembered Mom very much so. And there was a specific incense that I bought when I was there the last time. They only had every other one except the one I wanted. And something very weird happened. He closed everything up. He says, we don't have it. And I then walked away to go look at other stuff, books and pictures. And he just paused for a moment. And as if to talk to the same presence, he had a little conversation under his breath again. And then he said, I've got it for you. He opened the cupboard and he pulled out the incense. And there was a cupboard that I had looked in myself. It was not there. That incense was not there. So I got this. And it obviously just appeared out of nowhere, because I wanted the yellow box, as if Baba was there to just gift this to me. So yeah, beautiful experience.
In 2004, Swami's health, he was in the car. So this devotee had a packet of vibhuti. He came across and he told me, brother, Swami's going to come with the car. He's not going to come on my side. Can you take this vibhuti and get it blessed by Swami? As Swami came past, I went up to him and I told him, Swami, bless. And he put his two hands over my hands. So I believe, that was the start of, 2 days later we got to know on Shivaratri that Shans was pregnant with Saisha. And I think that was the energy and, something that what we were going to go through a roller coaster ride in our lives where a portion of her brain was removed and was tested. And that's when they found that she had Rasmussen syndrome. But during that time, and I can tell you, it's our whole family, and I can tell you our family is divided. We've got, Muslims, Christians, a universal family, and all of them prayed with, with love. We lost her 2 weeks before her third birthday. I take peace that, yes, Saisha is now with Swami, but Saisha will always be with us. And yeah, so that's where our journey started.
Through galaxies, cosmos, and the skies above, we all sing in praise to the one who has come. Through galaxies, cosmos, and the skies above, we all sing in praise to the one who has come. With mercy and love to right our wrongful ways, His loving hand and His guiding ways. With mercy and love to right our wrongful ways, His loving hand and His guiding ways. Sai Baba, we love you, Sai. Sai Baba, we love you, Sai. A divine invite from the Lord of Lords, a miraculous boon to me, your gift from your heart to mine, your gift from your heart to mine. In gratitude we gather from across all lands as we pour our love to you, Sai, through our tears, smiles and cries. Sai Baba, we love you, Sai. Sai Baba, we love you, Sai. We have been chosen over countless births, your messengers of love and peace on earth. We have been chosen.
When we got married, in the year 2000, we were invited to Spring Sai Center. At that time, Dr. Reddy was the national chairperson. And in his speech, he told us, this day is a very special day of Guru Purnama. You can give up one bad habit in your life. And what I've decided is, myself and my family, to become a vegetarian. From the year 2000, I never regretted my change in my lifestyle. And thereafter, almost every 2 years, we go for pilgrimage at Prashanti Lilium, and we never regretted the change in my life. During our first trip in 2001 to Prashanti Lilium, through the grapevine, we were told, when we leave Prashanti Lilium, Swami sends 2 angels with you back home. Believe it or not, it really, we felt that experience of the angels guiding us back home to South Africa. When we went to the airport, we were running late. That was the first trip to India. And then we went to via Air Kenya. And then we were running late. And I told my wife, we are running late and we might miss the plane. And all of a sudden, from there was a gentleman wearing a purple outfit. He said he's from Kenyan airline, and he said that just follow me. And as we went to the counter, we were on time, and we spoke to the lady across the counter to check in our boarding pass. And thereafter we looked for this person. He wasn't there to thank him. We wanted to give him a tip, and we asked the lady across the counter, "Do you know this person? Does he work for Kenya?" She said, "I don't know this person," and we never saw him. And that touched my heart. That really convinced me. Swami sent the angel black home, and we went safely home. Om Sai Ram.
My journey started many years ago, and the difference is that I didn't really know Swami at all. And I lost my husband. And the week that I lost my husband, I actually had a dream. And in this dream was Swami. And Swami came through to me and he tapped me on my back and he said, "Don't worry, you'll be okay." And I didn't take much notice of this dream. Obviously, you've lost somebody. And after a while, I remembered this dream because I saw a photo of Swami. Somebody had given me a photo of Swami. And not knowing Swami or anything about him, I thought, oh wow, this is the dream that I had. So let me go through to a Sai center. And that's when it turned. That was my turning point. When I entered the Sai center, that Gayatri Havan the first day. And when I sat there with my eyes closed, and the first time when I heard Om Tat Sat prayer, I realized I heard it before many times over. And you know what? That was my drawing card. Yes, at that time I had 3 little children. They've grown now. They're all adults, all over 30. I'm to be a senior soon. But you know what? Swami's held my hand and taken me through all the trials in life. And yes, I'm so grateful that Swami has invited me to his fold. And I love Swami. And thank you, Swami. Thank you for drawing me close to you. And I love you. Jai Sai Ram.
Om Sai Ram, my loving salam to the lotus feet of our dear Mother Sai, the Sai that ever loves us every moment, every second of our life. I was indeed privileged and grateful to Swami to have an omnipresence effect of the Sai organization and Swami's omnipresence in the area of Greenwood Park, where as a child of 9 years old, we witnessed Swami's materialization in terms of the roti in the tea, the kumkum out of his photographs, the honey, the turmeric, and seeing Swami's vibhuti spread all over. So it was one of my dear friends' houses in Greenwood Park, and it was a very interesting story how 9 of us as little children, we were the first to witness this. And 9 of us called our 9 mothers to come and see and witness this experience of Swami. And I was privileged that Auntie Babesi was one of the first Balvikas HV teachers in Greenwood Park, and she assembled the children that we all used to go to the Divine Life previous to that to come together to hear about Sathya Sai Baba's teachings. So I grew up in this era whereby as a child exposed to Swami teachings at a very young age. It's indeed a privilege, and to know that I'm exposed to Swami from the inception in his omnipresence form of organization of 55 years old. Swami came dream and he said to me, from now onwards, you'll be speaking without a stammer and a stutter. I used to be stuttering and stammering in the organization earlier. And Swami said to me that now he wants you to go on stage and speak without a paper. And he says, I must go and speak speak to and through me. And as a test of my ingenuity and faith in Swami to know that I could do this, and now I will speak without a paper and Swami to and through me. I'm indeed grateful and reverential for this wonderful experience Swami has given me to expose myself to faith and confidence to know that nothing in the world Swami cannot do for you and to you and through you.
It was in the year 2001 when I was in Puttaparthi, and Swami had called me in for an interview, me and my family, and I didn't know the protocol or what have you. So I waited at the entrance of Swami's interview room, and everybody went in, and it was my turn to go in. I waited for Swami to come, and then Swami said, "No, you go in first, and I'll go." I looked up at the fan, and the fan was on in Swami's room, and he told me, "Put it off if I want to." And so I went in, the interview room was full, and as you know, people don't give you a chance to sit anywhere. So I don't sit, I sat on my knees, and I had a direct eye contact with Swami. And Swami spoke to me first. And, and I said, "Swami, why me first? I want to see what's happening." And he asked me, "Do I want his gift?" And he materialized this ring here for me. And I was still sitting in the back, and my daughter was sitting right in front with Swami. And she, looking at me, she said, "What's happening?" But when you're in the interview room, your mind doesn't function, because you're in a different frame of mind. You're sitting with God now. And I dived to the front, and Swami put the ring on for me. And he tapped on my cheek and said, "Good boy. Om Shri Sai Ram." Thank you, Sai Ram.
झूले मेरे साईं, झूले मेरे बाबा, 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 झूले झूलाए मेरे साईं।
Krishna was everything to me until I had a dream. I am at a family's function, and in this function there was lots of people, and I wondered what it was all about, not knowing that the next day my friend tells me his sister is having a Sai Bhajans at her house, and I must accompany them. So it was exactly as I dreamt. I was at the same place at his sister's house, and in this dream I could smell, we were singing together bhajans and things like that, as we sing in the Shivanandra ashram. So from that time, I was attracted to bhajans or Sai bhajans, right? And then in a dream, I'm prostrating to Lord Ganesha, I'm prostrating to Lord Krishna statue, and then at the end of it, it was a whole man, and I didn't know he was Shri Baba. So I prostrate to him, and this statue turned into Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna takes me outside the ashram, and then he starts to play with me, He's got that like a squirting, they squirt with the gopikas, And he was playing, I was playing with him in this. And I never knew that it was Swami, So from that time, I became a Sai devotee.
रेशम की डोरी सोने का पलना, रेशम की डोरी सोने का पलना, झूलना झुलाए मेरे साईं, झूलना झुलाए मेरे साईं, झूलना झुलाए मेरे बाबा, झूलना झुलाए
Om Sai Ram. Bhagawan called me through my readings, my spiritual readings. I was reading about this book by Diana Cooper, who writes about angels. So she narrated in one of her book called A Little Light on Spiritual Laws. There's a chapter on blessings where she mentioned and narrated in detail how Bhagawan called her to Prasanthi and how she had darshan there and how she got blessings through darshan. And then that's when I really got interested about all the details that she mentioned about Swami in that chapter. I really got interested and started, researching on the internet about Swami, about Sai Baba, and I got a lot of information that I got there. And for 6 years, I was just an online devotee until I decided to attend the pre-world conference in Durban. That's when I got to interact with other devotees, and that's when I got information about how I can join a Sai Center in Joburg, and I did that. So yeah, he called me in a seamless way, compared to the other stories that I've heard. It was really very smooth, and it was a long journey in the sense that for 6 years I was just alone, learning the Gayatri Mantra after reading about what Swami says about it. But that's how I really joined Swami, and I was convinced that he is what I have been seeking all along.
And when I retired and my wife also retired from teaching, we were very concerned. What is it that we're going to do when we relocate from KZN to Gauteng? In KZN, we are involved in every activity in the organization and in community. And then we were a little worried. So we prayed to Swami that when we come here, we'll have a Sai Center, we'll have people, we'll have friends, and we asked, okay, our passion was we would like to come and teach in the Sai school because we retired teachers. And when we decided, we came and settled in KZN. We were too far away placed from the school, almost 75 Ks. But Dr. Reddy got us, passionate about the school, which we always liked. And then we said, let's come and teach in the school. Then we started coming offering services in the school. Now we're serving in the governing body. Dolly's doing EHV support. I'm doing support for the school, and I'm the vice chairperson. But, we say we'll come and spend 1 or 2 hours in the school. But what happens is, we say we'll leave at 10 or 12 o'clock, but we end up leaving by the end of the day. Initially, we said we'll come and spend one day a term. It became 1 day a month. Now it's 2 days a month. And we are so passionate about it. And we can feel this. Swami is drawing us. It's nobody else that is drawing us to the school. And we want to be of service to community. Jai Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. So I'm very lucky I was born into the organization. My mother is a Sai devotee, and she found the organization through Baldikas when she was a young girl, and now she's a Baldikas guru. And when we were born, her big thing was we needed to go through Baldikas as well. If I had to think about my connection with Swami, I feel like for me he's a voice, almost like a conscience or a guardian angel. And whenever I'm thinking, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing that I'm thinking about, whether I'm trying to get through a problem or I'm grateful for something that happened in my life, I'm always thinking about that voice in my head, and that's Swami to me.
In 1973, I got a call from Zambia. My sister was not well, and I had to go and see to her. And on that day, it was a Thursday, and as we went into her house, there was a photograph of Sai Baba there. And on there was honey flowing. My sister says, see, there's a miracle here, and there's honey flowing on this photo. And that evening, they were going to have bhajans. So she told me it's not ordinary bhajans, it's different from the normal bhajans. So I said, never mind, I will come along and I will join you. As we went into the house, we sat down, and as the bhajan started, The first bhajan was a Ganesh bhajan, and Balan Parapan and my brother-in-law were there playing the harmonium. The first song that Balan sang was so beautiful that the tears just ran down my cheeks. And I knew then that I had found God, because I was so attracted to Swami, and that is how I became a Sai devotee. Thank you, Swami, for finding me, and thank you, Swami, for everything that you've done for me thus far. Om Shri Sai Ram.
I was born into the organization. My mother was part of the organization. She went to Balvikas when she was younger, and then as she got older, she became one of the gurus. She trained, and I think I found myself really connecting with it mostly because my mom was always pushing us, reminding us. It was never forceful, because I always felt like every time my mom said it, like, remember to pray, like every time I was stressed, it was always, Leah, remember to think of Swami. And I think like now I hear those voices by myself, and Swami has become like a daily part of my life. In all my emotions, I feel my emotion, and then I feel that Swami, that Swami with me. When I feel it, he's with me. And I think I was so lucky to have joined the organization from such a young age, because I'm still in Balvikas now, and I'm learning to incorporate everything into my daily life, so it's been really great.
My experience of Swami, of how I met him first, while I was in the USA, my auntie was having a bhajan in her house, and she told me she's having some gathering. So I didn't know anything about Swami, nothing at all. I haven't heard about him. Suddenly, I sat down in front of this huge photo of Swami and I said to myself, what is this? They are singing to this man with this big hair, and look at this curly big hair. And I'm thinking, how can they be singing to such a man? And inside of me, I wasn't even keen, I wasn't following and all. But only what happened that night, Swami came into my dreams. And Swami gives me a lingam in my dream. And then when I got up, I told my aunt, you know that man you were singing to? I dreamt of him. She got so excited. What did you dream? I said, he gave me a green rock. I didn't know it was a lingam that time. Green rock? I said, yeah, green rock. And she had a book there. And as I was looking at that book, I said, that's the same green rock he gave me. That's a lingam, she explained it to me. And she said, oh, that was such a beautiful dream. And I said, yeah. And after that dream, there was no turning back. My soul started to search. Who was he? What was he all about? What was the organization about? What was Bhajans about? So my soul was now searching and searching, and there was no turning back. And it's been about 43, 44 years that I've been with Swami.
An experience I'd love to share with you guys is when I was applying for jobs and I got into a job that really took a mental toll on me, I wrote to Swami and I asked him, what do I do? And the answer was simple, just to surrender. As a youth, that's so difficult to do because you're always chasing something, whether it's money, whether it's success, whether it's climbing the ladder. But I listened, I sacrificed everything, and Swami placed me in a better place where I am today, and I could not be happier. My message to the youth especially is to just understand the power of surrender. It's difficult, I know, but when you master it, keep mastering it. It's a constant effort that will take you so far. Jai Sai Ram.
Actually, I met Swami from the late Mrs. Governor, Shamin Governor. That's how I met Swami. While coming up from Durban, it was the materialization regarding the roti. So when he came to Gauteng, we actually went to the prayer room and checked out Ganesha. And we thought maybe there's roti also there. But it was Ubhuti and milk formation from the Ganesha. But actually I met Swami actually to Shamin. I wasn't a devotee of Swami, but for the past 30 years I've followed Swami's teachings and I feel it's good. And because of his teachings, I continued and I'll leave my faith with him. And eventually, when the children were born, they will make sure that they join us for service every Sundays. We joined the Joburg Science Center and eventually went to London.
I was in Durban, in Victoria Street, and my wife had brought an LP with Swami's photo on it and the LP itself, with Swami singing bhajans. And I looked at the LP, the cover, and I said, this is an Afro man with the Afro hair. I don't want him here. I threw the record onto the bed and I walked away. It seems years later, I found Swami in Johannesburg through the late Everett Jackson. And my wife's interview with Swami on that morning where he said he will give her a spiritual upliftment talk, which he did. It so happened that when we went for an interview, Swami looked at my finger and pulled out the ring. And he said, 9-planet stone? I said, yes, Swami. Swami said, what do I give you? And which God do you like? So I said, Swami, anything, any God. Swami said, no, you tell me. In the presence of Swami, I couldn't think. I just blurted out, Lord Ram. And he changed the ring into a white stone with the picture of Lord Ram. And he showed it to the devotees that were in the interview room. And then he turned around and he said, what shall I give you? Again. And I said, Swami, anything. He looked at my wife and he said, what shall I give him? And
my wife said, give him the 9 planet stones. So Swami blew on it again and put the 9 planet stones back onto the ring. And it was hurting me, that ring. So when Swami put it back on my finger, it was perfect fit without hurting me, and it stayed like that from then on. Om Sai Ram.
So I think my sister and I were destined to become Sai devotees, and I feel like Swami actually handpicked the two of us. I say that because I wasn't born in a Sai family. When I was 8, a very good friend of my mom's had approached her and said there are Hindu classes that are taking place, and she asked my mom if she'd send my sister and I. And we, obviously my mom was a very staunch Hindu, and she was very excited about these classes, and she went ahead and she sent us. And it was one of the classes, Balvikas, I think when we went, we were just completely absorbed. We'd never seen Swami before. We never had any experience whatsoever with him. And he was, we were completely taken aback by all his teachings. I felt I could resonate with everything that he said. And what made things interesting is that my mum signed us up for tennis classes, which we left, for classical Indian dance classes, and we didn't do that for more than 6 months. But somehow, for Balvikas, which was on a Saturday afternoon between 2 and 3 p.m., we would insist my dad take us for these classes. And my sister and I just ended up being so involved in the organization. We were the first to graduate in the Karistan Sai Center as Balvika students. She went for the youth conference in India. I became a Balvika's teacher shortly thereafter. And the two of us have been involved and active in the organization ever since.
Om Sai Ram. So my very earliest and fondest memories of Swami goes right back to the year 1986. My family was fortunate to be traveling to Prashanti, and Swami normally says that no one can come to Prashanti unless it's his will, and hence that's my fondest memory. Part of that experience was an interview that Swami had given to the devotees of South Africa. From what I can remember, I mean, being 6 years old, that particular day, there was probably about more than 40 devotees that were called for this interview in that very small interview room. And just reflecting back, I can actually kind of remember how small that room was. The color of the carpets, the walls. It was amazing, like sitting there and just thinking back, how did the walls of that room just expand to just gather everyone together in Swami's love. Swami spoke a lot to the devotees in the interview room. He has, his sense of humor, laughing, and also in that same way, also a lot of seriousness, giving us some very important messages. I remember seeing Swami materializing lots of vibhuti for people, and rings and pendants, and being a 6-year-old, I obviously also wanted something from Swami. And when he got up from his chair to walk towards some of the devotees, I walked up to him and I stood on his robe, and I was actually pulling on his robe, and looking at him, and I'm like, Swami, I also want something. Please, can you also give me a ring? Please, can you also give me a pendant? Swami, please, can you give me something? And not realizing at that time, I'm actually standing right there in front of the Lord of the universe. And what a fortunate opportunity that is to be standing there. The Swami looked at me and he laughed, and he ruffled his fingers through my hair. And in the little bag that he had in his other hand, where he was handing out vibhuti packets, he actually put some of that vibhuti in my hand. So for me, that was quite an amazing experience. Thinking back now, how fortunate I was. And I think that was the moment that, for me, was Swami's personal invite to me, to be a part of his work, getting involved in many activities in the organization. And life is sometimes very hectic, and we all go through our fair set of challenges. But I think whenever I am in that moment of doubt, or in that very dark moment, where things are not going as they normally do, I think back to that experience with Swami, and it takes me back as fresh as yesterday, and that really gives me everything that I need every single day to continue doing his work and to really live my life's purpose and what Swami wants me to do. Om Sai Ram, 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 Om Shri Sai, 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 Om Sai Ram, 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 Om Sathya Sai, 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 Om Sai Ram, 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 Om Prema Sai, 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 Om Sai Ram, 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 Om Sai Ram.
The first experience I got is in 1975. When we were at the ashram, sitting on the ground, I had bought some vibhuti pendants and some rings and everything to bring back to South Africa. So it was our last day at the ashram, and I was sitting with the vibhuti and all that in my hand, and I was praying that, Swami, if you don't bless this vibhuti today, I'm going to just leave it on this ground and I'm going to go back, And then as I had my eyes closed, I just started vibrating. And when I looked up, I seen Swami at his one hand on the vibhuti and the other hand at the back of him, and he was looking at me and smiling. I didn't know what to do. I was shocked. I was just staring, but I was still shaking. I couldn't even put the vibhuti down to touch his feet because I was just crying. And that was my first experience with Swami. And I felt so nice because I bought the vibhuti and it got blessed from Swami. And I was happy to bring that back to South Africa. And with that vibhuti, we started our center. And we've been distributing that vibhuti, throughout. And I still got that vibhuti in the bottle that I keep adding, over and over again. And that was my first experience with Swami.
I didn't know much. I think it was just a picture of a man with big hair. And that's what I saw as a child. And I was invited to attend Bhalvikas by my neighbor, who also held satsangs in the house every Friday night. And at the time I didn't realize what was going on and why was I doing this. It was more out of a social commitment that I went to Bhalvikas. And there was a moment that I realized that this was Swami actually inviting me to be a part of his path. And I think to be exposed to something like that in this Kali Yuga age, where peace is so rare to find or come by, it was definitely something that was paving the way for the future for me as an adult. And if I think about that journey, it was me taking part in Bhalvikas events, having taken part in plays and dances and bhajans. And as I said, it was a form of a social. But now when I look back at it, there was a bigger meaning to it. And I will never forget the first time I actually saw Swami in his physical form. That moment will be etched in my heart for as long as I live. Just seeing his radiant physical form walk past you with that divine smile, it is a feeling that you can never explain. You feel elevated in his presence. And I know that it was by no mistake that I had to be exposed to this life.
Now it's our obligation, our duty, the purpose of this life, to really contemplate on why he called, why he gave this opportunity, and what is my duty now to find and become him. So brother, I think in a nutshell, we are here, that's all I know. And unless and until we get him or we become him and we realize that union, our journey would continue.
He called us close with silent keys from distant lands across the seas. A glance, a smile, a love so free. He brought us home by invite only. By invite only, hearts awaken. No path to fall, no soul forsaken. We rise with love and humbly see. We're here by grace, by invite only. Shri's light, Sathya's flame. Prema waits with holy name. Three forms, one truth, eternally. He leads us all by invite only. Om Sachidananda Parabrahma Sathya Sai Bhagavata Namaha. Love all, serve all, truth is the key. Peace begins with you and me. By and by only we came to know a love so vast it made us whole. Through every breath, in every cry, we serve with joy, oh Sathya Sai. Sathya Sai, oh Sathya Sai, oh Sathya Sai.